Hey everybody, it's Stevie B with Adventures in Old Fashions, and I'm going to try and give you guys an update here. I haven't had great cell service, it's been real spotty here and there, and I'm actually, if you hear some background noise, I'm right off from I 70 in Copper Mountain at Conoco. Got some snacks, and I'm going to take a little break here and hopefully get caught up on updates for you guys. This one's going to be days 5, 6, and 7. Basically over the weekend when Mike was out here and we got to hike. So I think where I left off, I was pushing to make a few extra miles so I could get to Kenosha Pass Friday night fairly early. So that way Mike and I could hang out and get a good night's sleep and get a good start on the next day. And it worked out great. I got there about 4 o'clock, and it's hilarious how things work. So all day long, I just kept kicking myself. I'm like, Stevie, you are an idiot. You got a buddy who's bringing you a typical resupply. He's bringing you a couple of things that you need, tape for your blisters, a knee brace, things like that. Why didn't you ask him to bring you a sandwich, like a sub sandwich, chips? He's getting dropped off. He doesn't have to carry it. You could have had this fantastic treat and totally just slipped your mind. Fast forward, I get to camp. Mike plops a a sandwich down on the table. I'm like, dude, you must have read my mind. It was the greatest treat at the end of the day. We set up camp, nice campground. The only problem was our neighbors showed up late and decided to use a sawzall to start cutting down branches and trees to make room for the awning that they felt they needed to put up over their tent. And they had some aftermarket super bright LED spotlights on their Subaru. So it was well after 10 before they figured they had it set the way they needed to and shut everything down to where we could get some sleep. Got a good start the next day. We were going to do the segment 6. It's 33 miles roughly, and we're going to do over 3 days, the Labor Day weekend. Everything was going good, so we put some extra miles in. Did a little over 16 the first day, and then the next day we really pushed again, made some good miles, and actually got down into Breckenridge Sunday afternoon instead of Monday forenoon like we had kind of planned. So it was a nice little treat. Put me a little bit ahead of schedule. We got a hotel room in Frisco. It was fantastic. We got there probably about 5 o'clock. The shower was fantastic. It felt great to be clean. Mike had a resupply box in his car, so I put on some actual clean clothes after taking a shower. We went and ate, and Mike, correct me in the comments, but I think the place was Highland Brewery. Fantastic. I did a little 6-beer sampler. Every one of them was fantastic. They've got a Saison that they mixed Tang with, and they call it the Wu-Tanger. That was great. And they did, it's a barbecue place too. So I got some pulled pork, some brisket. Mike let me try some of his pork belly. It was the best little break off the trail. Went back to the hotel. Mike, being the awesome friend he is, did all of our laundry. And while he was doing that, I iced things that needed to be iced, which was a lot of things. And then great to sleep in a bed for a change. And the whole time, there's a scene in Silverado that was running through my mind. I don't know if you guys have seen it. If you like Westerns, definitely see it. It's a great movie. But there's a little kind of a cafe bar, and Donald Glover walks in, and he sets his rifle against the counter and puts his money on the bar, and he's like, I haven't slept in a bed or had a shot of whiskey in 10 days. And that just kept running through my mind. It was just so nice to sleep in a bed. Get another shower in the morning, and then a couple of pit stops to pick up some supplies to get me outfitted for the next stretch here. And I was back on the trail, it was after 9, but it was before 10. And the plan was just to, go 4 miles, camp. This last section was a really big uphill, like from 9,000 feet to 12,500 feet in only 5 miles. So I was going to camp at the base of the incline, get a good night's sleep, get started fresh. But you know me, I was feeling good off from a good night's sleep, so I kept going and going and going. So I actually, at 5 o'clock last night, crested the ridge. That's the 10-mile range between peaks 5 and 6. And I'll post I did a 360 panoramic video. I'll post that for you guys too, so you can see kind of what I saw. But it got really late. I got up over the crest, got just back down into tree line, and decided to call it a night. So it was a pretty good a day. So that's why I'm going to take it easy today. I'm just going to get about 5 miles out of Copper and call it a night too. But it was great hiking with Mike. It was, nice to have a companion, somebody to share some of this stuff with. We had a really great campsite the first night, out in the middle of nowhere, off the trail that went off the trail to the campsites, next to kind of a ravine with several waterfalls in the creek. So that having that background white noise was fantastic. It was Sunday. We were heading down, and we started hearing, sound like barking, but it was really hard to tell because it was like just super loud. And, first we thought maybe it was coyotes, but, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning, and it wasn't the high-pitched yip, yip, yip. It was just weird, loud, and, like, unsettling. We both stood there for, like, a minute trying to figure out what we were listening to. And I thought, well, maybe down the valley there's some kind of, like, motocross going on, because it was just all, like, so many different separate, noises going on, high-pitched and low, and just, it was weird. And it just kept going and going, and sound, as we were walking, it was getting closer and closer, and like, well, there's got to be something going on. It was a sled dog farm out in the middle of nowhere, so that they wouldn't bother anybody. There had to have been, I don't know, 50 dogs down in this valley, and they would all start barking. That's how dogs do. They're like huskies, and it just echoed up and down the valley. It was just the weirdest thing. But yeah, you never know what you're going to run into kind of out in the middle of nowhere. We had to set up tents for a minute to wait out a storm just below Georgia Pass. That was kind of interesting. We found a spot of trees where we could set up and got a little nap in with the storm to blow over, and then we got up over and where the trail connects with the Continental Divide. So yeah, it's been a really great last few days. This is actually day 9, the morning of day 9 for me. I'm going to call it here for 5, 6, 7. I'll fill you guys in a little bit more about my day yesterday and then today. And then I'll also post the videos of up over that 10-mile range. So I hope everyone's doing well. I'm feeling good. I'm going to rest here for a little bit before I head back out on the trail. But I will talk to you when I can.